Hi, my name is Andrew Dimmer, and I'm the Developer Student Club lead at Oakland University. Due to a lot of school closures due to COVID-19, a lot of classes are moving to online instruction, and in this video I want to demonstrate how to use Google Meetings to go run a classroom in an online setting. Let's get started. Now it's time to join and run your meeting. So we've already set everything up, and all we need to do is click on one of the calendar events and click the Join Hangouts meeting link. Once we do so, it will prompt you to allow access to your microphone and your camera. Be sure to hit allow or it won't let you use either of these, and the meeting may or may not start depending on your web browser. It will also sometimes prompt you to allow push notifications. This one you can allow or disallow depending on your preferences. Generally speaking, I allow it. Now, as you can see here, this takes you to basically a ready waiting room screen right here. So what we're looking at here is it gives you a couple different opportunities. First and foremost, we can go change your settings. So double check if your microphone you don't think it's working, or your speakers you don't think it's working, or the video is not working the way that you think it should be. These are the settings where you can go double check basically which device is selected. Generally speaking, you shouldn't need to test this unless something isn't working, but this is where you would do it if you have, let's say, more than one microphone or more than one camera plugged into your computer, maybe an external mic and an internal mic built in, and this is where you could do the selection. Now, the other thing you can do is you can actually turn off your microphone or turn off your video even before you join the meeting. So if you know you aren't including a video of yourself in this particular meeting, I could turn that off and nobody can see it on the meeting. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to go turn it back on because I'm going to assume that people are attending the meeting and want to see me as the presenter of this one. Same would be true for the microphone for this one. And once all of these settings are all set, all you've got to do is hit Join Meeting. Now this here is the Google Meeting itself. There's a couple things I'd like to go over right from the beginning. First and foremost, we have the same buttons we saw earlier. So here's to mute your microphone. Now if I turn it off, the microphone isn't working for a Google Meeting anymore, and while I'm talking, they can't necessarily hear me. We also have the ability to turn the video off from here and turn it back on, and then if I wish to leave the meeting, I can hit the end call button. But we're not going to do that because we want to present the meeting here. Now, a couple other things. Here's a preview of you up in the upper right hand corner. So in the event that something else is on the screen, like your presentation once you start presenting, you can see yourself over here. In addition, we have the chat box right over here, so you can send a message to everyone. Hello. And they can message you back. This is available for all attendees on the meeting, but note that if someone joins late, they won't see the chat history before they joined. The chat's great for students asking you questions if they don't necessarily want to turn on their mics, or it's not necessarily a quiet spot to do so. In addition, the chat's great if you're sending interactive things to your students, like a link, and they can go directly click on it. In addition, we have the People tab over here, which shows a list of participants in the meeting. Note that if you forgot to invite someone on the calendar invite, you can invite people directly here, but you've got to do this every time, and so generally speaking, I just add everyone to the calendar invite, or I share this link directly with everyone. I generally don't use this add people button myself. Now, this is the basics of what it looks like. Let's add a student. Now, I only have one @oakland.edu account, so I'm actually going to add myself as both the teacher and the student in this particular demo. So I have my student logged on as another computer, and they're going to join the meeting the same process that you did. As soon as they hit join, as you can see, I have also joined the meeting. Now note that this student turned their webcam off by default, and their microphone is currently on. Now as you can see by the little sound bubbles out here, it means that their microphone is currently broadcasting. If we want to turn that off, we can go over to participants. As you can see, we can hit the drop down of the student, and we can hit the mute button on their microphone. Once you mute them, it mutes them for everyone on the call. So this means that this particular student isn't able to talk. Now they can unmute themselves just the same way we can mute and unmute ourselves down here. It'll be exactly the same on their screen. But this allows you to control if there's extra background noise on in the background, you can go turn it off, and if they do have a question or something, you can turn it back on. Now the last big thing to demonstrate is how you're actually going to present to your class. You can talk to your class just like you would in front of them, but generally speaking, when you're presenting, you have maybe a PowerPoint or you're presenting on a whiteboard or something like that. To do that, you would go through and you would present your Google Meeting. To do so, we head over to Present Now, and we have two options. We can either present your entire screen, or you can present a window. Generally speaking, I typically choose to present the entire screen, just because sometimes if I'm going from like a PowerPoint, then maybe to a YouTube video, and then I'm heading back to an external link over here to go show something else, if you're presenting just a window, it'll only show that one window you started presenting, usually the PowerPoint, and your students can't see everything. If you present your entire screen, everything that you see, they're able to see. So with that in mind, I'm going to present my entire window. Note that it prompts me to select which window I have. For most computers, it'll only be the one. However, if you have multiple monitors hooked up, make sure you know which one you're sharing. And once you hit the share button, as you can see, it now says that you are presenting. And so this is what people are saying. Note that you can stop sharing at any time by clicking this button here. Now, if I wanted to go through and I wanted to show a PowerPoint, all I've got to do is open up that PowerPoint, and if it's on my screen, the students will be able to see it. Likewise, let's say that I need to go open up a new Google tab, and I want people to see what's on it. As soon as I hit that new tab button, everything on my screen, they can see without a problem. When I'm done with the meeting, all I've got to go through and do is hit stop presenting, and it will stop sharing my screen. Now, one feature that Google Meeting has that's usually exclusive to the premium version, but is released to everyone with an education account due to the school closures, is to make a recording. Now, because I am not actually a teacher, this button doesn't show up for me, but if you want to record your Google Meeting directly from Google Meetings itself, in this drop-down menu here that comes up when you click the three buttons, there should be a Record Your Meeting button, and once you do so, it'll record the entire meeting, and once it's done, it will automatically save it to your Google Drive, and you can go post that or share that with your students. Once you're done with the meeting, all you've got to do is hit the End Call button, and you're done presenting. And that's the basics of using Google Meetings to go run an online class.